Good afternoon, guys. Hope everybody's doing good. Um, First of all, obviously want to congratulate our women's team. I watched part of the game um, because we were in and out preparing for our game on tomorrow. But a great crowd. A lot of the kids that were there, I know they had a great time. I wish that was around when I was living in New Orleans, and I wish some college team in New Orleans would have had something like that for fifth graders that could have gotten me out of school for about 2 hours. But that was pretty cool. Um, just want to give you a little bit of a quick update on what we saw when we broke down the video from our last game, and hopefully I'll answer some of your questions in this intro. Defensively, we have to do a better job of communicating, okay? Because what's going to happen, what's happening with our team is they're looking at the final score, all right? So they were looking at me crazy in the video session yesterday because they're wondering, what am I so animated about, or why am I so convicted about certain things? Because, Coach, we won the game and we missed 20 free throws and we still won by, a pretty large margin. So they're looking at me like, why are you so animated, Coach? Because we don't talk on defense. We're out of position too much on defense, and we have to do a better job of rebounding. I'm wondering if everybody's noticed how we've been getting out rebounded and how our opponents got 17 offensive rebounds and we didn't get many. So we have to continue to improve in that area, and that's about having sustained focus, okay? Offensively, we don't run harder and consistently enough on offense, all right? We're a faster team than what we showed the other night. And we got to get good reps on offense and have better recognition of what's a good shot and a bad shot. Our screening needs to improve, okay? If we were a football team, our quarterback would get sacked on every possession because nobody's blocking. And we got to do a better job of screening. Obviously, the free throw line, we made some adjustments there on yesterday by working with some of our guys and getting in the right mindset at the line and looking at the target instead of looking at the floor and breathing and going through their routine. So hopefully we'll continue to improve in that area because we're a much better free throw shooting team than what we showed. But you know what the major problem is? Again, they're saying, wow, coach, we won by such a large amount. And I'm saying when you break down the word wow, okay, when you break it down, they're saying, well, coach, you want us to work on winning. Yes, but I want you to work on more wisdom, okay? Because we need more wisdom if we're going to go anywhere this year. We're not going to be able to do it because we have this rock star of a team that think they can just roll out there on the floor and win games. So that's my intro for today.
Avery, kind of along those lines on defense, you had to play a lot of zone against Memphis given the foul trouble. You've played a lot of man. I mean, we brought out the press last night. Are you seeing things that you like in being able to, go between these defenses a lot and change mid-game?
Well, we're hoping that's one of our strengths, that we can go between a lot of different defenses. Historically, you can go back and ask Dale Harris, one of my assistants back in Dallas. I was never really a zone guy. He used to bump me the entire game and say, let's jump into a zone. That's not really something that I like to play historically. And now it's John Pelfrey. So I've gone from Dale Harris to John Pelfrey, and he's always hitting me to play a little bit more zone. And I think it's worked for us. And I think you have to adapt and adjust to your team, strengths and weaknesses, to the situation. And we think we've done that. So we think we can play a lot of different styles of play on offense. We think we can mix up some defenses on some calls on defense to get us in some different looks to hopefully keep our opponents off balance. And then also it gives us an opportunity to get all of these different situations on video so we can teach and evaluate it and teach it so that our players can continue to improve, because it's not an excuse. We do have young players. That's just a fact. And I know we want them to grow up fast and mature, but they're still young and learning.
Avery, two questions for you. First of all, the areas that you were talking about in terms of wanting to improve, whether it's rebounding or sustained focus, how on a daily basis and in practice do you go about improving those areas or getting some of those corrections you're looking for?
Right now, I would say every 4 or 5 possessions. Sometimes it's every 3 possessions because our practices with this team, you talking about teachable moments. We have quite a few of them in practice. But fortunately, these kids are coachable. We really do have good kids. And no matter how animated or maybe calmly we may share information, they do a great job of taking it and moving on to the next play. You know, this team will have crybabies. They might be young and they may need to improve and grow and develop, but these kids have a lot of mental toughness, and that's why we recruited them.
And then second question, in terms of Dayzone, it seems like he's gotten more confident as a three-point shooter. It seems like he's continued to fill out, get stronger, get bigger. It seems like overall he's just continued to grow as a player. And then, like I said, just in terms of like stature and all that kind of stuff, what have you seen from him the first couple of games?
Well, again, I just think it's a level of confidence like I've been here before. You know, I've played a season here plus 7 games, and I've been in some really tough, hard-nosed games against some really good teams and some guys that are now at the next level. So there's a level of not comfort, but confidence, but not cockiness that he exhibits in practice and now in the games. And a lot of the areas that he didn't trust us in early on, now he trusts us. So he's able to basically teach and lead his teammates because he understands the importance of all of the things that we've tried to convince him about in his time here at Alabama. And by the way, when you were lifting weights on that video, how many pounds was it?
Coach, with Braxton out, that seems to have created a little more opportunity for several players, but Alex, I guess, in particular. And how do you think he's handled that opportunity?
Yeah, it's given some other guys a chance to step up. First of all, it's Daniel Giddings in the starting lineup. It gives him a chance to play on the perimeter a little bit more. We've been playing against teams that have been small at 4, and he's had to chase some smaller guys and fought a little bit of foul trouble. He did a much better job on the perimeter in our last game and made a nice little compact post move there during the game against a smaller defender. But then Alex gives us a different look because he's just as good a rebounder as anybody on our team. He hasn't really shown a lot in the post, but we think he's good at stretching the floor and giving us a different look of a big guy that has that type of size that can go out and take and make a three-point shot. We think he's a really good passer for his size, whether it's an outlet pass or if he ever gets in the post and gets double teamed. So we think and I think, Cecil, what you've seen is why we strategically recruited all of these guys. They all have strengths and all bring something different to the party.
I do. Just to not repeat Monday's error about not asking about the opponent, what have you seen from Alabama A&M?
Yeah, it's funny because when you look at their team and their team speed, Petty, Boat Johnsons, Arthur and Ariston, those guys get the ball up and down the floor as fast as anybody we've seen this year. They're not as big inside, but they're physical. Their big guys can, especially at the 4 position, can catch and put the ball on the floor and slash, and they play with tons of energy. But so they're not the biggest team, but boy, they're a fast team. They seem like they get every loose ball. So we're going to have to take care of the basketball, have good balance on offense so that we can have better transition defense, and hopefully we'll talk and communicate because we're going to need to do it because they not only are fast, they all can shoot the three-point shot.
At the end of the game, you talked about the benefit of having 2 point guards and having them on the floor at the same time. Dayzone, Colin and obviously maybe Braxton at some point or whoever else, Avery on this floor as well. So, but I guess how do you hope to kind of work that rhythm? We saw Dayzone brought the ball up a lot more early in the first half than Colin did, but you're looking for more communication, and that's something that you've kind of, I don't want to say been critical of, but obviously some of the point guards in the past haven't been as big communicators as Colin is. So how do you hope to balance that?
We're still looking for that balance. It's not going to happen overnight. These guys have only played 2 regular season games together. Colin didn't play in game 1. Dayzone had a lot more to ball handling responsibilities until AJ Jr. came in. But we're trying to figure out in situations who's on the ball, who's off the ball. But fortunately, they can do both. That's why we think we can be that type of team that you just can't try to slow down one guy from handling the ball or passing the ball or shooting the ball. If Dayzone's on the ball, Colin is just as good off the ball and vice versa. Same thing with John Petty. John Petty's a pretty good passer, and now we add Braxton to the mix when he comes back, and AJ coming off the bench, and Herb, he can pass, dribble, and shoot. Then you don't have a lot of guys out there with glaring weaknesses. They're pretty strong in all of those areas. They just need to be more disciplined, keep it simple. Sometimes our team loves to be cute and cool in situations where we got to be more efficient.
Just how do you hope to kind of foster that communication? Obviously, that seems to come natural with Colin, maybe not so natural for the other guys. What are you doing to kind of create some of that more moving forward?
The bench has a way of talking to people. So you this year, because of the depth of our team and quality depth, if that's something that's going to be a non-negotiable for us, our guys are going to have to communicate because we can't go anywhere without it. And if we don't, then maybe, I guess, some people call it timeout without a real timeout in terms of discipline. You probably just have to come and sit down because we don't have 5 and 7 and 10 minutes and a half to have a lack of communication and find it acceptable. There must be some sort of accountability model, and we think we have it.
Do a couple more questions. Start with Caleb here on the line. You mentioned the other night about the rotation, where you like it to get to. Do you have a sense around the team or in practice that the guys are fighting for playing time or competition?
Yeah, great competition. Yeah, that's what we wanted because we have a couple of bigs that are fighting for minutes, and they're doing it in the right way. And we still have 3 guys that are out. And, they know when those guys come back, those are guys, especially with Riley and Braxton, that have played real minutes for us. And in Riley's case, for 2 years, and in Braxton's case, being an all-SEC freshman team guy, he's got some respect around the conference. So it's going to be very important for them to continue to battle for minutes, which I'm hoping continues to make our practices better.
You were complimentary of the fan turnout in this last game. Just what are you expecting from a Friday night crowd in another non-conference game?
Well, it's just hard to tell sometimes. I'm hoping that, one, our students come out and support us the way they did. Aaron and a lot of our players have been very active on social media, and from what we've heard, they've been very engaged. And also the reports we've gotten from our marketing department with all of the things that they do, and they've done a heck of a job, that our students have responded and they're excited about what we're doing and where we're trying to go. They understand we can't go without them. But at the same time, we understand sometimes those Friday nights before a football game can be tough because you got to figure out how many of your students you're going to lose to some of the other parties that are going on campus that I never get invited to, thank God, okay? But hopefully our season ticket holders and our fan base will come out. The game's a little early on a Friday. I'm hoping that, the people that work and have full-time jobs, I'm hoping that maybe they can get off a little early and come and support us.
Okay, last question, Matt.
Hey, I just wanted to say if you had any update on Riley and Armand, and if you have any idea of just a realistic expectation for when those guys could get back out there.
Okay, well, Riley will go through pretty much the entire practice on today. Braxton is getting better. But Braxton in our mind, like I said on Monday, I'll give you guys an update on them on next week, okay? But Riley will practice today, and hopefully he'll be able to make it through the entire practice and then recover well. And just like I mentioned to you guys, we're hopeful that he'll be back for Thanksgiving in Brooklyn, and if not sooner, Tuesday night against Arlington, UT Arlington, okay? Thanks.